Hey homeschool friends. So I have been feeling a bit nostalgic lately, and so in this video I'm going to spend some time going back through our homeschool journey and pulling out what I believe are some of my homeschool successes and sharing them with you. So I started our homeschool on New Year's of 2019, when my oldest had just turned 5 and then my daughter was 3 and my twins were 1 year old. And so that was 3 years ago. So 3 solid years of homeschooling, and man, it's just been such a journey. I have grown so much, I have learned so much, and I have loved sharing a lot of that with you guys because I have been on YouTube for now 2 years. So other than my first year of homeschooling, I pretty much have been sharing everything we've done. And I really appreciate all of you who have followed along for that whole journey. But like I said, I want to spend some time today thinking about what are some of the good things that have come of it? What are some of my successes throughout this up and down journey of learning how to homeschool? So that's what this video is about. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you've been coming for a while. Like I said, today's video is about my homeschool successes. It's also part of an open collaboration video series called The Show and Tell. It's hosted by Abby over in Rooted and Rest and Jessica at the Waldock Way. So I will link both their channels below. I will also try and link the playlist, but let's just jump into today's video. So before I start talking too much about what I believe to be some of my homeschool successes, I do want to link an old video I made about a year ago that talked about why I decided to homeschool. So it goes a lot through our journey. Basically, I just didn't realize I was going to homeschool, and I definitely didn't realize I was going to love it so much. And so that's what brought us to today. So go watch that video if you haven't heard our journey before, because I'm not really going to talk about that here. I'm just going to talk about what I've learned from the past 3 years. So I have 4 things written down that I want to share with you today, and I put the most important one first because if you happen to stop watching the rest of them, I want you to hear this one first. One of the things that I believe I've done really well is that I have stayed true to myself, because the world is just full of comparison, and the homeschool world is no different. There are some wonderful YouTube channels and blogs and just some wonderful homeschool moms with just amazing personalities, and people that just really inspire me are sharing on various platforms their homeschool, and I love it. But if you're not careful, it can be a place to set up some comparison and feel like you're failing because you're not able to do all these other wonderful things. But I feel like for the most part, I've been able to avoid that for the most part. I just feel like maybe it's because I'm almost 40 years old or whatever, but I feel like life has kind of taught me just to stay in my own lane, to really celebrate the things that I am good at, and just to kind of try and let the rest go. And I feel like I've been able to stay true to myself in a lot of the videos I make about being like a scientist, having my PhD, as well as being a Christian, and some of just kind of the unique challenges there. And I feel like that's just who I am. I'm not going to try and pretend to be one or the other just to fit somebody's expectations of me. I am who I am, and I have learned to love that. And some other things I was trying to think of where I've stayed true to myself is, maybe this is something that's a little bit more learned, is I've learned that I need organization. I am not a fly by the seat of my pants sort of person. I need the organization. It helps me feel stable. It helps me feel like I can serve my kids well in our homeschool if I'm organized and on task. So I've learned that about myself, and that's not a big deal. That's a great thing. And another thing I feel like I've just really been able to honor in myself is just the current life season that I'm in, with just the age of my kids, the fact that my youngest kids are twins, twin boys that just get into a lot, and that's wonderful. And I love them, and they've been such a gift, but they are just loud and rambunctious. And I feel like instead of pushing against that and resenting them, I feel like I've been able to make decisions that really honors that life stage and still allows us to really succeed in our homeschool and just thrive. So I think that's been really good. I'm trying to think if I had another thought on this. Oh, I guess kind of to tagline on some of that, I also feel like I've been pretty good at not needing to be all the things. I feel like that's hard as a homeschool mom to see all the different wonderful things other homeschool moms do. Like, some are just so good at nature, some are so good at crafts, others do art projects, others really knock it out of the park with their science projects. You know, it's like you can see that and just be like, wow, I should be doing all that. And I have definitely learned over the years to just not pick that up. I don't need to pick that up. Our homeschool is just where it needs to be, and it will flux as we change. And so I feel like that's my biggest success, is just wrestling with that a bit, but also landing in the place where it's like, no, I just need to stay true to who I am, who we are as a family, and that will be honestly the perfect setup for our homeschool. So my second homeschool success, I would say, is that I have been able to change curriculum when I need to. It's a stressful thing. You don't want to switch curriculum too often, but you don't want to hold on to curriculum when it's not working. And I would say we have changed curriculum more than most people, but I have yet to regret it. I mean, there really hasn't been a point where I have been doubting myself or regretting it and being like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I really haven't. Have seen the fruit of all of the changes. All of the changes have been really good and really wise. I mean, not to say that I didn't have stress in making those changes. It's a very hard thing to feel like, oh, I'm releasing this thing that I really loved, and I hope this works. And there's no guarantee that this next one will work. But I feel like as long as I'm really thoughtful kind of on the front end and the back end, and trying to think about maybe why a curriculum is not working, and then specifically why it's not working for this child, and then on the back end just being like, what curriculum do I think would fit those needs? And when I've been able to do that really well, I feel like the switches have been perfect and just great for what we needed at that time. And just the reality to kind of hold it all loosely and realize it might not stick around forever, but for now it's working, and that is very much a success. So another homeschool success, so our third homeschool success, is that I have attempted to make decisions on our homeschool based on developmental readiness versus expectations. And I feel like I could almost make a whole video on this, but I feel like this is hard to nail down. It's just the ability to see my kids for where they're at. And I feel like that's always kind of been a gifting of mine, is to really be able to see people and accept them for where they're at. And that has really helped me as really the main driver of our homeschooler, the one who makes most, if not all, of the decisions for our homeschool, is that I try to consider where my kids are at. Like, what are they ready for? And to just really meet my kids where they are at that precise moment. And I mean, I haven't always done that well or perfectly, but I'm always striving to do that, because I think the alternative is when you're like, well, you should be here, or I expected you to be doing this at this point. And that never goes well. They know that, they can sense that you are disappointed in them in some way. And then I always have to question, where do I even get these expectations? Why do I think somebody has to be reading by the age of 6? You know, it's like being able to just rest in where they're at. And this doesn't mean like not challenging them by any means. It more means just trying to hold that balance loosely, to try and push a bit to see where they're at, but also give a bit if they're not responding well to that. If that pushing is causing more problems, then I'm the one getting in the way of their learning. But instead, I just want to try and like envision it as like lifting them up and trying to help them in the process of learning some of these things that are really hard. It is not easy to learn how to read. It is not easy to learn how to do math or think mathematically. And so I think just kind of giving them a little bit of a break on that and trying to assess where they're at developmentally, which is hard, I know. But I feel like that has really helped our homeschool be more successful and happy, for that matter, because I'm trying not to hold all those expectations. If that makes sense. I hope that does. And the last thing, the fourth homeschool success I want to share, is I think we have done a pretty good job at fun and celebration. Probably more celebration than fun. Sometimes I have to try and work on being fun, because you really can't make like math and reading that much fun. I mean, you can encourage and try and elicit some excitement in them that makes them really want to learn how to read. Like that I can do. It's hard to make that fun, you know? But I think other than those like big skill subjects, we have been able to bring fun and delight into a lot of the other learning we do. A lot of it is through books, and I'm a little bit biased here because I just love books. I've always loved books. I mean, I now have my own booktube channel because I love sharing about books. And so I think that kind of energy has rubbed off on my kids. And so having a literature-based curriculum for the rest of our homeschool has just made it more fun. It makes science fun. It makes history fun. It makes Bible fun. It's just more interesting. And granted, I could add more projects to that. And I like projects to some degree. I don't love projects, but I know that my kids enjoy those, so I try and prioritize those as well. So I feel like fun has been something we've done well, but even more so, I feel like I have done a better job of celebrating. We celebrate pretty much everything, like the completion of this program, or if something was really hard, we'll set smaller goals and just celebrate that, and we'll go out for pizza, or we'll go get some ice cream, or we'll do something small. It doesn't always have to be food related, it often is, but I try to celebrate all that stuff because it helps my kids feel proud of themselves. It helps them realize that hard work really does pay off. And it helps them know that I'm proud of them, that I see them and I value them. And so celebrating, it just is such a really cool thing to add to your homeschool. And it's just been really fun for us. So I feel like that's just been a big success of ours. And so yeah, those are the 4 things I came up with when I was thinking back on the past 3 years and what's gone really well and what has been some of the most enjoyable parts of our homeschool. And so I know you have some yourself, and I think it's really good to assess that, to think back on that. And I would love to hear from you if you're willing to share some of your successes, some of the things that you're like, yeah, we've done that really well and I'm really proud of us. I would love for you to share that down below, because I think we should celebrate each other in this too, because I love that about this community. I feel like the community on this channel is so good at just like lifting each other up and celebrating and really thinking about the things that we have done well. So please do that down below. I would love to read your comments. I always love reading your comments. But anyway, that is what I have for this video. I hope you found it helpful and entertaining and encouraging. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to and all that stuff. So otherwise, that's what I have. And I will see you guys in the next homeschool video. All right, guys. Talk to you later.